Good evening everyone and welcome to this Planning Committee of Sandwich Town Council for December 2024. No, sorry, you move this one. Yeah. Okay, item 1, apologies for absence.
So we've received apologies today from Councillor Paul Carter due to a personal commitment,
Yeah.
Councillor Fortescue and Councillor Dean Marie for work commitment.
Okay, thank you. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive any declaration of disclosable pecuniary interest from members in respect of business to be transacted on this agenda. Okay. Item 3, minutes of the Planning Committee. To approve the minutes of the Planning Committee held on Monday 11th November 2024 and to consider any matters arising for those minutes not covered elsewhere in this agenda. Happy to approve the minutes? Propose a second or propose it? Just a seconder? Yeah. Unanimous, yeah, thank you. Item 4, public participation. The 20-minute session is set aside for members of the public to make representations at the meeting in respect of the business on the agenda. Individual representation should not exceed 5 minutes. Written notice of the desire to exercise the right to speak, together with the topic to be addressed, must be given to the town clerk at least 4 hours in advance of the meeting.
I have received that.
Okay. Thank you. Item 5, planning applications. Application plans and papers can be viewed via the Dover District Council website. A. Planning application reference 24/00981. Proposal, erection of 2 detached dwellings with associated parking, outbuildings demolished and self-built. Location put it down, 108 Widdesborough Road, Sandwich, CT13 0AB. I think it's a site with an old quarry, isn't it? I don't know if anyone's been up there much of it. It's an old farmhouse up the road, and then it's some old buildings set back quite low. So it's all right to me, basically. I think anything rejecting the people to never stay.
Well, there's concerns raised by the fire service about access. I'm not opposed to the principle of development of the site, but it seems to me 3-storey dwellings are rather excessive for that constrained site.
Yeah.
That would be my only view.
Yeah, I had some concerns more about the properties themselves, so the impact on the surrounding properties, the potential for the overlooking aspects and the loss of privacy. Also for the house number 2 that's included, there's no timescales included for that being completed, so that's a concern. And then also the fact of including large 3-storey properties with permanent staircases to the top floor would suggest that maybe they're not really 3-bedroom properties, but that's how they've been presented.
So you're in favour of this development or not? I think it go through myself, I'll tell you that.
I think I'm opposed to it as it stands. I'm not opposed to the principle of development.
No, I agree.
I think it's an overdevelopment of the site.
Yes.
In my view.
So, is there a second?
Sorry.
Yeah, I'm happy to say.
Councillor Pennington wants to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'll second it.
Yeah. We go for the vote. Who's in favour of rejecting this application?
In favour of rejecting it.
Yeah. That's what we're going to do.
Not rejecting, objecting to it.
My objective is the size of it.
I propose that we object to it in its present format
Present format,
because of
yeah.
overdevelopment
Yeah, and also the impacts
on surrounding properties.
Yeah.
potential.
I think that's passed, isn't it? Yeah.
It's my
That's passed.
Sorry, Councillor.
Oh, one abstention. Thank you. Okay. B. Planning application reference 24/01063. Proposal, front elevation render replace, timber frame repairs to front jetty, replace render to chimney, internal works, ground floor, first floor wall upgrades, first floor party walls, structural repairs and replacement wall finishes, structural repairs including rear elevation, first floor and ceiling joists and roof structure, location 42 King Street, Sandwich. And that's There are quite a few plans there, except old opticians, which is in a terrible state.
Yeah, I think you've sort of hit the nail on the head. The building itself is in a very poor state.
Yeah.
Looking at what's been described, it requires significant repairs,
Yeah.
and the materials that we're proposing to use are appropriate. So I'm more than happy to support it.
I think the more they started stripping stuff out, the more damage they found.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I think this property's already had approval for change of use, hasn't it?
Yes,
That's right, yeah.
So that's also positive to see.
Yeah.
Proposing that, councillor Super.
Happy to.
Yeah, I'm happy to propose it.
Yeah. Seconded, councillor Waller.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, all in favour of this recommended approval? Yeah. Thank you. Item C, planning application reference 24/01137. Proposal variation of condition 15 floodlight hours use of planning permission 23/00365. Variation of condition 2 approved plan to vary sports pitch design of planning permission 21/01314 section 73 constructions of a sports pitch, erection of a 2-storey pavilion, new vehicle access, additional 20 number car parking spaces, fencing, lighting, drain and ancillary work to extend the floodlight hours used. Locations Roger Manwood School. Not very sandwich. I think we approved this, didn't we? To do the bat survey.
Yes, and the BAT survey didn't actually produce much, but this actual resubmission, so all the details, the actual framework of it are the same, but what's really changed is the hours that they want to operate the floodlights at the location. My personal view is I would personally rely on DDC, who agreed the hours for the lighting to be the determiner of whether the new proposal is acceptable or not, because they've actually moved it quite significantly in terms of the hours they want to have floodlights.
Yeah. Councillor Waller?
Yeah, I recall that we've already seen a previous request to change the hours, and now we're having another one. So it feels to me a bit like mission creep on this.
That was my
That they got the planning permission based on the no use of the floodlights during the summer months.
Yep.
And then 11 till 4:30 on Sundays, bank holidays, 10 to 8 p.m. on Saturdays, 9 till 10 p.m. on Monday to Friday. And now they're asking for quite a considerable extension of those
I'm
hours.
not sure if they got the planning permission. I thought the application had been withdrawn before a decision had been made.
No,
Is
that's
this
the
not the one?
that's the current condition. I've just read out is the
Oh,
current
sorry, I
condition.
beg your pardon.
And now they're asking to go up till, is it 8 o'clock on Sundays?
Sunday, Monday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday and bank holiday. Oh, sorry, 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday to Saturday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sundays and bank holidays. So
Yeah.
7-day week.
So it's an extra 4.5 hours.
Yes, it is.
I mean, the question is whether the residents in that area are happy with that additional use, into their day of rest, so to speak.
We did have comments previous, didn't we, about the actual neighbour wasn't happy at all. But we hadn't had any this time.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And that possibly takes me back to my original point is I'd prefer to rely on the district council planning to reassess this and then to decide whether it's acceptable or not, because I think you're taking the 24-hour clock and they're just moving the dial wherever they want to.
Yeah.
So I've got no personal objection to it, but I don't feel, as you say, we know enough about
Everyone
the
should
impact.
put no comment.
I mean, the sports pitch is at the far end of the playing field, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I guess the impact on residential is not great. I don't know what any of the co-optees are.
No, I don't know. It just seems that we keep getting these things, and then it's sort of like chipping away.
But there's no principal objection to it, is there?
No,
So
not really, no.
I think Councillor Franklin's suggestion of maybe no comment in the circumstance might be the right way to go with
that's
it. But
good. So no comment.
No comment. The other papers are not, no comment.
So, councillor Peterson.
can't separate it. Got no nails. There we go. D, planning application reference 24/01068, proposal, replacement of front elevation door and case, surrounding brickwork and lintel, report and repair front and rear elevation brickwork, location 31 Fisher Street, Sandwich, CT 139EJ. I don't know if anyone's been around it, but they already took the dog a bit off the front, haven't they? And it's a weird looking property, because it's, to me, it looks like, it's like two houses, and it looked like years ago they had a passageway, the door was like, because it's a very weird sort of thing, but, and I don't like it that it's, they've already started the work, haven't they?
Yeah.
Which is a bit naughty, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they've had a fairly substantial team of people in there for some while.
Yeah.
Because these are I think this is the same property where they wanted to build a new thing in the back garden, cut in the Clements churchyard, which we declined strongly last time.
Yeah, I've just got a broader point, because you made a comment that's quite an interesting one, because we have talked here when we find out that an application is catching up on stuff that's already been done.
Yeah.
I attended EDC event with the mayor week before last, and part of that discussion was planning. And what the planning officers at EDC made very clear was they do not penalise any applications if they are after the event. They look at the application on its merits. So we can't say, actually, we're going to start in a negative frame of thinking on an application, even if it's after it's been started or even been finished.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to share that as something to bear in mind, that we don't colour our own.
But having said that, if someone works on a property in a conservation area without planning permission, you would think they should know that they have to apply.
Yeah, I see the architects were in Edinburgh, aren't they?
Are they?
Yeah, I've got even the boss. But I agree with you. I think if it's a conservation area, I think there should be a fine involved if they start doing council.
Yeah, I thank you. Yes, I mean Fisher Street is really quite special, and I really against people changing the front facade for what seemed to be no particular good reason.
No.
If it was a structural issue that they had with the current situation, it might be more understandable, but this does not seem to be based on that.
No. But it's an important statement. We didn't have a chance to go and even have a look at it. They ripped it all off. Yeah. So, we can have we recommend the proposal to it.
In Church Street, certainly.
They do some work at that as well.
Yeah,
support it.
Yeah,
I'm happy to second that.
Sorry,
Sorry, what's the
In favour of it.
Yeah. We couldn't
To support it. No, what's it support?
support the application. Yeah. Yes, sir. Who, Councillor Pennington? Support it.
No. I think you want to object to it, don't you? Did you?
Yes.
Yes, you want to object to it.
So you're
Sorry,
against
I
it?
wasn't clear what the proposal
Yeah.
was.
To pass, to approve the planning application.
Well, if it's passed.
I mean, one abstention.
one abstention, and you're sticking with your agreement?
I don't like the proposal, and as I said, it's something that I think we should only accept if there are structural reasons, which I didn't see. And I'm talking about the front facade. I don't have a problem with the back.
And the next one,
Is the conservation?
yeah, it's exactly the same.
Sorry, Chair, would you be happy to add in a comment along those lines? Because I think that's a reasonable thing to say, because I think we voted in favour of it.
Yeah.
There are some concerns about.
Yeah, the work on the
Yes,
side.
thank you.
Yeah, we've
Thank
got
you.
it.
Yeah. It's all wrong, isn't it?
So sorry, can I clarify the comment just so I can make sure I have it? It
Yes,
was,
say
it was a,
there's
you
no
changed
comment in relation to the work at the back, but concerns about the front facade.
And that was concerns on the basis that we couldn't see
The need.
the need of doing that. Yeah. However, we have voted in favour.
Well, it's got to be doing that with a big hole, isn't it? Okay.
So did you want to do this one? Because you're supporting.
That one there, yeah, more or less, yeah. So the next one is the conservation, put it in the conservation, the planning application. So we're going to support the, yeah, the replacement front door, repair brickwork, lintel fascia to front elevation, location 32. This is only, it says the front though, this one, doesn't it? Because it's only the front that comes under the conservation. So, wait, do you have a opposed to this? Or councillor?
They'll probably get passed. So
Councillor Barr? Councillor Evans?
I'm happy to support it.
Thank you.
to go against the conservation perspective, because Pennington's alluded to the changing the facade of the front, and in a conservation area that shouldn't be acceptable.
So,
Okay.
yeah, that's fine.
Up to me. Planning application reference 24/01180. Proposal, alteration to side elevation to replace ground floor window with door, remove and infill existing door, rear elevation to replace window with French door, replace door with sash window. Internal works include remove ground floor petition to form a storage area, location 27 High Street, Sandwich, CT 139EP. I think we had this before, was this property before?
I don't remember seeing.
No, it's a new one.
I think it was similar to a property we discussed last week where they wanted to replace a door with a window, but I don't think it's the same property.
I think it's all at the rear, isn't it, the property?
Yeah.
Councillor Sue.
Yeah, so when I looked at this, where I am at the moment, I think I would want to object to this because it's the use of non-traditional materials. So, and they are removing a sash window as well to replace by an aluminium French door, even though it is at the rear of the property. So it will affect the historic fabric of the building. However, the heritage officer will be key in terms of whether that fits within the parameters they're happy to accept. Because I think that was alluded to in some of the commentary of the submission. But we're not here really to do the heritage officer's job.
No.
What we're saying is there's a property in the conservation area, and put aluminium in opposed to wooden structures. Yeah.
Councillor Wells?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I suppose it's a philosophical question about if you can't see it, does it matter? But clearly, if it's not traditional, I think it does matter if it's in there, even if you can't see it.
So you're in favour of the thing, it's just the design of the materials?
I'm objecting to it.
The whole
Yeah.
thing.
But that doesn't mean
So the window being taken out and
Yeah,
the door.
because the conservation area is there for a reason, which is to protect and preserve the historic buildings. And if you start adding non-traditional materials in, whether they're visible or not, it's detracting from the the integrity of the conservation.
That's the presence.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to propose that we reject it on that basis.
On the basis of
you're going to say
non-traditional materials.
We're rejecting the proposal for the materials. Oh, yeah. Okay, thank you. So the G is it's a conservation thing again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Alteration of ground floor windows, and so we rejected it as well.
Same proposal.
Same proposal, second, yeah. H.
Smash.
Planning application reference 24/01171. Proposal replacement front windows and rear French door, location 5 St George's Place, Sandwich, CT 139LW.
I mean, this one is tricky because they're making the case that it's in the conservation area, but it shouldn't be in the conservation area, which I don't think we can
No.
go along with because it's it's there, and that's the fact. But I'm not quite clear why they want to replace what look like perfectly good windows with plastic windows.
It's not very old property, is it?
You know, it's
20-year-old.
15, 20 years old. And looking at the photographs,
Yes.
the windows are, they're a bit weather worn, but nothing that a good repair wouldn't sort out. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, this, for me.
This is going for aluminium as well, isn't it? Something like that.
UPVC, they're saying that it would be identical,
Yeah.
but UPVC,
Yeah.
again, it is in the the principle is it's in the conservation.
Materials
area.
used.
I'm a bit more relaxed about this, I think, because it's not in the main town area, and it seems to me that I don't know why they need to replace the windows, but presumably they wouldn't do it if it wasn't necessary.
It's a little cul-de-sac, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
This is to replace 11 of the windows, but those windows at the back of these upstairs, which they're not planning to, at least they haven't applied for permission to change those to plastic at this time. It does occur to me that subsequently they might want to change those to be plastic as well.
Yeah.
And they would be visible.
That's probably because of the cost involved, and they're probably doing it too
I
bad.
think it's a question of visibility. The ones they argue that the ones on the front can't be seen very much because of another building in the way.
Yeah.
But on the back, the upstairs ones would be visible.
See it from school.
And the wall boundary with the road, is that not listed? Where the conservation area?
The wall on Sandown Road,
Yes,
I think it must be
it's
listed.
4 metres high.
Because it was once part of
Grammar school.
Manwood School,
Yes.
which they sold that triangle.
I would
I
think
don't
it
think
would-
the back windows would be visible from
Yeah.
the road, but
Not
again,
from the road, no, but from other properties.
So we recommend reject to it because the materials used.
well, if you want to be a purist,
Yes,
it's in a
yes.
conservation area,
Yeah.
and they're proposing plastic
UPVC,
windows.
isn't it?
So,
Yeah.
but if you start,
You get itchy,
Yeah.
itchy, didn't it?
it becomes again, someone mentioned slippery slope. It's-
Yeah.
In favour of
But
cleaning
then
cleaning out the
PVC
walls and
makes
the walls because it material.
to object because
Yeah.
We're in favour that we reject this
Material.
application. I'll second it. Just name in the minutes. And two. Thank you. Item I, planning application reference 24/01198, proposal change of use of land to dog exercise area and erection of fence gate, location land north of Archerslow Nursery, Ashroyd Sandwich. It's a little old meadow, isn't it? It's got stables for the skin. I think it's quite nice.
I'd be happy. I couldn't understand the business case for an area where you take dogs to exercise them, but obviously they've done their.
I
They've
think
done
it's so you can
their
get off the leash.
Yeah,
And these big dogs like Afghans,
Yeah,
they can book an hour and a half.
aggressive dogs.
So at the moment you have to go all the way to Tilmston.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's a bit of wasteland,
Yeah.
and it's great that actually it's going to sustain a business and hopefully it's successful.
Yeah.
So what's like?
I was surprised by this definition of the use as a dog exercise area. I didn't realise it could be so specific.
Yeah, because I suppose
Yes,
at the moment
wasn't it? It was on the ticket.
Yes.
it's designated agricultural. You know, it's a water meadow, so it's not very good in the winter months, so it gets really soft. So,
No, I don't have any objections.
So the dogs will get trench foot.
Yes.
all in favour, so, thank you. We don't have J because that's been withdrawn, and I was walking around in the road looking for today looking for where the signs were.
Oh, okay.
So we're now on item 6, withdrawn planning applications. To receive and note the withdrawal of planning application. Please none to consider at the time of issuing this agenda. Item 7, planning decisions. To receive and note latest decisions taken by Dover District Council on new planning applications. Does anyone sort of?
I see Whitefriars Meadow was approved for solar panels.
Yeah. And a little place around the back of the plunge pool, isn't it? Whitefriars.
I've shared an email. It's not co-optees won't have seen. I shared an email on that because I watched it online, and when that item came up, we were very much against that item. When it came up in the planning committee meeting, not a single thing was said by anybody. It was just read out as an application. Nobody, no reference was made to any objections, and there were half a dozen objections, including ours. And everybody, all the councillors there, just passed it through on the nod.
We did not design the buildings either, other things as well.
Sort of things. Isn't it going to be Airbnb?
Well, the issue there was that the applicants had said it isn't, and of course the council did have to take that as stated.
It's a pretty big plunge pool, isn't it?
The biggest plunge pool I've ever seen.
But these are the things we can talk about when we do meet with DDC planning.
Okay, item 8, street furniture application. Please note, none to consider tile issue in this agenda. 9, licensing. To consider any licensing notice and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note, none to consider tile issue in this agenda. Item 10, enforcement. To consider any enforcement notices and issues received from Dover District Council. Please note, none to consider the tile issue in this agenda. 11, correspondence. To receive and consider correspondence relating to planning matters, including notification of appeals against refusal of planning application. Please note, none to consider the title of this agenda. 12, verbal updates from Dover District Council on matters relating to planning. Council on that.
Two items. First of all, planning application 24 oblique 01114, which is schoolhouse nursery. The removal of the wall has been referred to an investigating officer. And secondly is 57 New Street. So now that I have the date for the next planning committee meeting via this agenda, I have then communicated with DDC and invited the planning officers and the portfolio holder to attend our next planning meeting. I've also provided them with a chain of communication from the previous planning enforcement officer, Bernard McEwen, and a Sandwich resident, and that covers November 2013 to November 2020. Now I know that before then there was extensive communication between this council and all the councillors and DDC. So I haven't had a response to that yet. Give them a few more days to digest the information I provided them with. All it is really, to my way of looking at it, is lip service from the previous planning officers. And I fear that we're going in the same direction again. Because when I first had this communication from the new planning officer back in May, it seemed very encouraging. But 6 months later, there's no real development.
That's a shame about that.
I mean, the roof is in on that property. It will reach a point where it's not salvageable.
Should have probably 30 years ago, shouldn't I?
What concerns me is this weekend has been a typical example. We're getting more and more extreme weather. That building is getting weaker and weaker. If you compare the legislation they put in place in terms of events, because of a fatality, why aren't they applying the same logic to planning applications where it's very clear that a building is in danger of falling down and injuring somebody, at least?
This is why we need a senior planning officer to come and speak to us and explain what's going on.
Yeah, I can just expand on what Councillor Morehouse has said. My own personal experience with a building that I had, which I wanted to dismantle and rebuild, the heritage officer stated no, despite the fact that the wall was leaning and I had an old prop holding it up. It was dangerous. It has since collapsed, unfortunately without me underneath it. But to have somebody in the council say, no, you may not make that safe. It defies belief.
Yes.
Effective rules fall down into
Yeah, I was just going to how this intercepts with the broader request for planning to come. So, are we clear that we've got it all joined up? But secondly, my second point would be if we've got a commitment from planning officers to come, particularly if it is going to include the discussion on 57 New Street, is can we just make other councillors outside this committee aware? Because this has come up at STC itself. So any council can attend any meeting, but it might be worth just flagging up that we've got Dover District Council
You've got a bit of a
officers.
problem there, councillor, because it doesn't.
Because so I've had contact with Sarah Platt and they've agreed that a meeting is fine and they have done this with other councils.
Good.
However, they will meet with the chair and myself to limit.
I don't think that's
That's
acceptable.
not, we should accept
That's
that.
not acceptable.
I have stated that you were very clear that you wanted it, and she came back and stated that they were very clear that that was their offer. So I have tried to push forward with the meeting.
Well,
I've emailed and asked for available dates, but I've not had a response. So now I've asked for specific dates before January meeting to discuss it. But I will.
Just calm it down.
I don't think that's acceptable. I think we should consider maladministration, ombudsman.
Well, I do think it's sufficiently important. It's seen by almost everybody visiting the town. I do think it's sufficiently important for us to raise with the full council if necessary. I mean, I'm a bit seeking the advice of Councillor Morehouse, but I don't know what the most effective way is to go about this, but I do think it's important. And I do think this committee could raise it.
I think the way they're looking is just like an informal meeting between like the three of us and the
I
four of
think,
us.
yeah, I
They
have
don't
asked,
want a formal meeting, they don't want it be.
I have requested
I
if
understand.
it can't be with the full planning committee, could possibly also the mayor and the deputy mayor be in attendance, but I haven't had a response yet.
But the last time Councillor Morehouse reported, he said that they were setting up a meeting, and then there's this 13 years of correspondence, and they come to a meeting and say, oh, we need to do more research. I mean, it defies belief.
My confusion, I just want to clarify, so
Yes, yeah,
is
that's,
that this is a separate, so this is specifically about 57 New Street.
Well, I think 57 New Street should be a specifically separate issue. What we were planning on the planning matters was to do with generic planning. But this should be specific to 57 New Street. I think enough is enough.
And you've already made invitations.
I have.
Okay. Will you let me know if,
Yeah.
and then I can make an agenda item particularly around that? Is it for them to attend the meeting itself?
To attend a meeting specifically about, well, the next planning committee meeting, specifically to talk about 57 New Street. The generic planning matters would be a separate meeting, I would hope. But
Well,
this is
how you want to take that other meeting forward, I don't know.
so
how
I
you
think a
want to
suggestion
continue.
of widening it, hopefully with at least one or two others as well, would be
Yeah.
important, because there's quite a long list of broader issues that we would like answers on, like aluminium windows,
and solar panels.
wrong word. Investing a lot of time in terms of looking at a request, and then it goes to a DDC planning committee meeting, and there's not even a murmur of reference to it.
I mean, I'm very happy to request again, but I have clearly stated
Keep
your,
talking.
what you would like, and it has clearly come back that this is what they have done for
That's
other
right.
councils, so it would not, be fair to them give us a full meeting with everybody if they've not done that for any other town council or parish council.
Well, I think firstly they're treating Sandwich as if it's any other parish council. Sandwich is a special case in my view because of its heritage and medieval town. And this building is really important. So yeah, I think we need to object to that approach. As I say, we need to meet. The terms of reference for this committee make it clear that this is not just a committee that is reactive, looking at applications, but that it can look at wider
That's right, yeah.
policy and strategic issues,
Mhm.
and we should be doing that in cases like this and seeking answers.
If the planning officer is not prepared to have further members attending the meeting, would it be appropriate to make representations to the chief executive?
Yes,
Okay,
or
district.
to Kevin Mills, because again at the meeting I went to 2 weeks ago, he made it very clear that he wants his people
Yeah.
to engage with parish councils, and the whole that event was a parish council meeting that they ran, and he said we're here to engage with you.
I know assembly is very important to us, but when you look at the Dover district as a whole, there's a lot of, houses and buildings within Dover district. And if they're just going to, look at the places in, Dover, the Mason Jew and that, and Deal, the town hall, and even Wingham's got, Ash, they've all got fantastic buildings there, haven't they? Farms and different places.
Yeah.
So I think we do need to find out what exactly their policy is. Because they must be meeting with other, especially like size of Dover,
Yeah.
they must be meeting with more than just the chair of the Dover Town Council plan. I would have thought.
I don't
I'll
know.
leave it to you. I'll leave it to you.
What to be the, what,
To
as
find
a-
out.
I mean, I have,
You've gone back with the
already
county
asked.
bids.
Yeah.
and I have tried to
Yeah.
expand on their offer.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't
No.
ask any more.
No.
If you wish to take it further again, do you want to try maybe hold this initial meeting?
Perhaps we should wait till after Council Morehouse this meeting, should we?
Councillor
Sense,
Morehouse
you might
could
get the
perhaps
same
contact
response.
We're watching it, won't let him out. And if it does go like that, it's only a very small committee, that's what they really insist on. Then we just have to ask all the councillors for their questions, won't we?
Yes.
Listen, everyone to answer me.
And would they be happy with the meeting being filmed?
No, I just
No.
thought so,
No.
an informal meeting. We won't put it, do anything to
I mean,
go on record.
Councillor Morehouse and yourself will remember this has been going for years, ever since I first set foot in Sandwich, and it was a agenda item of the Sandwich Society. It went up, we've had, I think, 3 or 4 changes of ownership at the last second when the thing got to court. We've had them saying, we take us to court then, and all of a sudden people go, ooh, nobody wants to put their hand up and say, we'll spend £250,000 of the taxpayers' money to take, to go to the High Court with it. And that's what the problem is, and that's why I think we've just got away with it. But the state of it now is terrific.
It's an absolute blight on this town.
Yes.
It's visible to anyone coming into the town.
I know we've got the salutation, but I always thought that house was the nicest private house in Sandwich. It had a beautiful garden, had a billy blue on the side of it, it was absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, so it was really important, it still is in the sense the site's important, but we do need to discuss it. Okay, thank you. Item 13, date of next planning committee meeting, 13th of January 2025. Thank you all for attending in this awful weather.
What's another year?
Yes.